Okay, I'm live here. I'm sorry for the delay, but I'm here. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm just going to put this here and I'm going to talk. Okay, I went to see Scream 6 today. Saw the 11 o'clock showing of Scream 6. I was looking forward to this. And before I get started, let me just say exactly um, what I did. I saw it. Let me tell you my predictions first. I did two predictions actually first. I did one on my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions, where I predicted. I know this. I'll just tell you who I said. I said the survivor would be Kirby, the person that you think would be dead and then be alive. So that worked out right because Kirby actually she was presumed to be the killer. Okay, and then she wound up getting shot. I think it even stabbed, but she survived. So that came true. And then, as my prediction as the killers, I think I put Ethan, uh, the psychiatrist who Sam was seeing, as the mastermind, and I think Danny. I think that's what I picked in my first on my Paul's Views and Opinions channel. And then on, but I also said, alternatively, I said my backup opinion would be that it's Quinn and Detective Bailey. And when it turned out to be Ethan, Detective Bailey, and Quinn, okay, they were the family of Richie, who got killed in the film Scream 5. So that was my alternate theory. But then when I made my final predictions on this channel, I said I said it would be. I think I said Danny, even though I thought it was kind of predictable to be Danny. And I think because the actor has played a psycho really before in Arrow season 5. The actor who played Danny, Josh Segarra. So I said maybe him, and then I also said Ethan. And Ethan was kind of. I think Ethan. I saw everybody pick Ethan because Ethan was like this guy that was just like hanging in the background, shy, nondescript. So I think everybody was picking Ethan as the possible killer. So I think that was kind of blatantly obvious. And I think everybody, and even to the characters in the movie, they said Ethan was the killer. Okay, one of the ghost faces. They even accused him of it. Okay, and it turns out to be right. He was one. He was one of the killers. Now, in terms of this movie, the kills in this movie were particularly brutal. Okay, let's say the first killing, which was the character that Samara Weaving was playing. I think it was Laura. I think her name was Laura. She was a professor at the college, and she got set up by Jason. He was, a student of hers, and he lured her to the alley by pretending to be a Tinder date, and she was supposed to meet him at a bar, and he kept saying that he was lost and all this stuff. And he basically kind of lured her to come out of the bar and to basically go in the alley, and he was dressed up like Ghostface, and he wound up, stabbing her to death as Ghostface. And so you think maybe, okay, maybe this is, that a lot of people predicted that she would be the opening kill, but and then I did hear that everybody, I think I had that theory that he was supposed to be a Tinder date, or that she rejected him or something, and then so he killed her because of that. But he killed her literally to practice, and also because he said she gave him a C in the film class or something like that. I think that's what he said was the reason. So it was him and his roommate. I forgot the roommate's name that wind up being killed also. But anyway, he takes off his mask, so you immediately know who he is, and he goes back to his apartment. And I forgot the guy's name, but he's talking. He gets a call, and it's usually the scary guy, with the it's like Ghostface, but he thinks it's his roommate that's practicing, and they said they're gonna finish Richie's film from the first movie. They're gonna finish his film, and they're gonna wind up, and their plan was to kill Tara and Sam. Okay, I think that was their plan. They were gonna kill Sarah and Pam. But then he's talking on the phone, who he thinks is his roommate, and he asks him to find him in the apartment, and he gives him the clues that he's getting hotter, he's getting colder, to find him, to find him and find him, and then he says you're hot, and then he winds up back in the kitchen, and he kind of doesn't want to play the game, but he winds up back in the kitchen going towards the refrigerator, and he says you're burn you're burning up, and then he opens up the refrigerator. Oh yeah, he definitely asked him to how did it feel to kill that Laura, and he said basically she felt like less human as he kept stabbing her. She kept feeling less human as he was stabbing her. She was like an animal, like a piece of meat. And so when he turns around, he finds his roommate dead in the refrigerator, and turns around, is the actual Ghostface there, and he winds up stabbing him just the way he stabbed Laura, and this Ghostface stabs him brutally. I think he stabs him like 10 times, really, really fast, and then that goes off, and then so the opening kill is Laura getting killed like everybody predicted, but also Jason was part of that opening kill too. He gets killed just as well. So that was two things that really started the movie off right, in my opinion. And we find that Sam has moved to New York with she's moved to New York with her with her sister Tara, who's going to college with Chad and Mindy, but she's overly protective of Tara. Tara wants to just hang out and party and forget everything that happened, but Sam is constantly worrying about it, and she's even seeing the psychiatrist that I think played by Henry Cesare. I forgot how you pronounce his name. Henry Cesare, the college professor who's also her psychiatrist, and she's telling him the story in the beginning of the movie about how she has this darkness inside of her, and she actually he tells her that, listen, you've been coming to me and you haven't told me exactly what your issue is. Now you got to tell me, and then she she actually tells him the story about what happened in Woodsboro and stuff, and this professor is like totally freaked out about what he's saying to him, and she he's basically saying, listen, by law I got to report this, and she says, listen, I've had enough, and she leaves, and she actually goes looking for her sister Tara, and then we get introduced to a bunch of other different characters. We get introduced to Ethan, okay, who's like he's a roommate of Chad's, and they're at the party, and Chad is trying to teach him how to talk to girls and stuff. And now again, Ethan, the character of Ethan played by Jack, I forgot his name, Jack something, but he's like, again, he's the most obvious killer. I think I've watched a lot of videos of people predictions for Scream 6 about who the Ghostface was going to be, and he was like number one on everybody's list. I mean, it was just so blatantly obvious that he was Ghostface, or at least he was one of the Ghostfaces, that everybody kept saying it. Okay, yeah, he's going to be Ghostface. He's going to be Ghostface. Okay, and it actually, and even the people, like I said, even the characters in the movie, after the attack in the apartment, they even think he is they're looking at him with the sly eye and really saying that he's Ghostface. And after that, we definitely we get introduced to Detective Bailey, because his daughter Quinn is roommates with Sam and Tara. Now they even say there's a part where Quinn, who was one of the killers as well, she tells, I think she says it like in passing, that I lost my brother. I lost my brother, and she says, my father's so paranoid that he even transferred from wherever they were living. I forgot, she said the place where they were living to New York just to watch over me, to be overly protective. Okay, and I guess that was the first clue that she says that she lost her brother. Okay, and then later we find out that she told, I guess, Tara, then that she lost him in a car accident. Of course, obviously it wasn't true, because Richie actually was her brother. So like I said, the kills I think in this movie were absolutely particularly brutal. I mean, like I said, Laura, her kill was brutal. She got stabbed a bunch of times by Jason. Even Jason, who got killed by the Ghostface in his apartment after he killed Laura, he got stabbed a bunch of times. And I felt so bad for Anika. She was the girlfriend of Mindy, and she was in the apartment during the first attack when they were in the apartment. The core four are in the kitchen having dinner, and across the building from them is Danny. He's the guy that that we find out later that Sam is actually sleeping with on the side, that she's not telling anybody about. And he can see through the other window, and he sees Ghostface in the house, and he tries to call Sam and warn them and stuff, but of course they're not picking up the phone and stuff. And then that's when you see him come in. The ghost face comes in the room, and supposedly he's killing Quinn. Okay, and he even tosses her. He tosses Quinn outside of, when he finally gets their attention, and they come into the room and they see Ghostface, and he tosses Quinn onto Anika, and supposedly she's dead. She looks bloody and she looks dead, and that's when he starts doing the attack in the apartment. I think Chad grabs Tara and he runs out, and also Tara and Chad, you can tell they have a thing, because after there's a big blow up between Tara and between a big argument between Tara and Sam, because Tara is saying Sam's being too overly protective of her and stuff, and they have a big fight, and so they go back to the apartment, and Chad is trying to calm Tara down, and you see that they're really close, and it looks like they're gonna have a moment where they're gonna kiss, but Quinn interrupts it, and then later they do kiss. But like I said, the kills were pretty good. Like I said, I liked the movie for the most part. I think, again, switching it to New York was a good idea for the environment. I think you got great ideas, you got great things that were done in New York with the environment. Like I said, being on the train, being in the city, and that great, like I said, New York is a crowded city. Okay, or say the city that never sleeps. So there's constantly people, all around. Most, even at nighttime, there's people around. There's usually people in bunches and stuff. It's very rare that you don't see people on the street in New York. Okay, that's just the way it is. Except the only time I noticed that was different was during the pandemic. Okay, and that's when, because I didn't get laid off from work, and I actually went to work, and there were very few people on the street during the pandemic. Mostly people stayed inside, people that weren't working. But I think them using New York as a backdrop was really good and really inventive, using New York, because again, like I said, these Ghostface in this movie were relentless. They were not BSing. He was, the ghost faces, and it turned out to be 3 ghost faces, but they were absolutely brutal and relentless, and they would attack. It doesn't matter if there were people in there or in the daytime. Ghostface was attacking, and while normally the Ghostface killers in the past would be more stealthy, and they would attack only when there were not people around, or when the person was isolated or something. But in this case, the Ghostface that attacked Sam and Tara on their way to the police precinct, and Ghostface attacked them in public, and they ran into a convenience store, and there's people around. It's a convenience store. You got people waiting online to be served and stuff, people in the store, and Ghostface comes in anyway, and he's looking to supposedly kill Sam and Tara, and it's New York, so people look at him all weird and stuff, and ask him, and he winds up stabbing one of the customers. He winds up dodging a gun blast from the shop cleaner, like you see in the trailer, and then taking stabbing the shop cleaner, and then taking the shotgun from him, and shooting him in the head. Okay, and like I said, this Ghostface was pretty relentless. And then even the attack in the apartment, like I said, there were 6 people in the apartment at the time he attacked Ghostface, which you don't expect Ghostface to do, because there was, again, like I said, there were 4, the core 4 in the kitchen having dinner, and Quinn and her boyfriend in the bedroom, and Ghostface was in the apartment, and like I said, attacking. Like I said, he didn't wait till when people are, and then also when Gail got attacked in her apartment with her, it was her and her boyfriend. I'm assuming that's her boyfriend, the guy called the character named Brooks. They were in the apartment together, and Ghostface attacked. He called her, and then he attacked Brooks, got him out of the way, and then basically ran up. Like you see in the trailer, he threw the guy through the glass thing, and then started attacking Gail. So again, this Ghostface was relentless. He was attacking. Even, like I said, he wasn't BSing. And I think they made the Ghostfaces in this movie to make them, I guess, different from the ones in the past, and especially because you're in New York. Because unless you're, like I said, unless you're in an isolated place, usually there's people around all the time. And again, this Ghostface was not caring. He was relentless. Okay, and the motive for Ghostfaces, I guess in this case, which was Detective Bailey, Quinn, and Ethan. They were brothers. It was father, brother, and sister, and their brother to Richie. and of course that was Detective Bailey's son. Now, their motive was revenge. They wanted revenge against for Sam for killing Richie. That was their motive, which is like Scream 2, where Mrs. Loomis wanted to kill Sidney because she wound up killing Billy. And we do get a cameo from Billy in this movie. I think he appears twice in this movie, like to warn Sam, like when they're in the shrine, to tell her that to pick up a weapon and stuff. And they kind of try to set a trap. But the big showdown is in the shrine, where they have all the Ghostface masks and stuff, all the equipment, all the the props and stuff from the previous movies and stuff, the masks and all that stuff. And basically, what they do, the Ghostface killers, everybody they kill, they leave masks at the crime scene. Or everybody they attack, they leave the masks from all the previous killers at the crime scene. And then they explain at the end that it was like a countdown to the last mask, and they even wanted Sam to put on Billy's mask. And then I think their plan was that they're going to kill Tara, kill everybody else that came to that setup, and frame Sam for saying that she snapped and she was a killer like her father, and she killed her sister, killed everybody else, and killed her sister. And then I think they were going to say that I think the Detective Bailey had no choice but to kill Sam. I think that was the big plan. I guess they wanted revenge. That's the basic gist of it. They wanted revenge. Okay, like I said, Ethan was so obvious. Okay, he was the most obvious killer out of everybody. Everybody knew. And I think, like I said, I watched a bunch of prediction videos for Scream 6, and everybody picked Ethan. Everybody said he just looked weird, out of place, like a loner, and everybody just said, yeah, okay, he's the killer. I think that's what everybody was predicting, and it turned out to be true. I mean, there was the point where when they unmasked each other and stuff, and he said, "Oh yeah, I moved in purposely with a jock, that it was easy to move in with him, basically calling Chad dumb to move in with him to get close to be part of the core group and stuff, so he could be there for the attacks." And of course, Quinn, when we found out Quinn was the other killer, they thought that she had died, but they explained that the detective, he used this influence to switch out her body and stuff, so it made her appear to be dead at the time that after the attack in the apartment, that she got killed and Anika got killed. And Anika, I felt so bad. She was Mindy's girlfriend, and her death was particularly brutal because she got stabbed in the apartment when the Ghostface threw Quinn on top of her, and then he wound up stabbing her, and then they knocked him off. They hit him, I think, and then they boarded up the door. They closed the door on them, and they were trying to get out on the ladder. And Mindy went first, and then Anika was acting like she wouldn't do it, but then she finally got on the ladder, and then Ghostface finally burst through the door. He pushed through, and that's when you see what you see in the trailer. He stabs the knife on the ladder, and then he twists the ladder and he shakes it until she falls. And when she falls down, she hits the dumpster. I thought it was really cruel. She hit the dumpster, and then she falls down and dies. I thought it was really brutal because you see her, she hits the dumpster, and then you see her face is all messed up from hitting the dumpster. So not only was she bleeding out, but she wound up hitting the dumpster on the way down. That's what probably ultimately killed her, because she probably snapped her neck when she hit that dumpster, and then she fell over. And I felt so bad for her because she was from the little bit we saw of her in the movie, she was a cool character, Anika. She, again, Mindy's girlfriend, and I felt so bad for her that she wound up, dying like that. That was just really, really cruel. I really hated that she died that way. But anyway, excuse me. I'm sorry, I just want to get a little of that. Anyway, like I said, the killings were brutal. Okay, like the big confrontation when they set up a kill box. They call it setting up a kill box in the shrine. It was going to be Tara, Sam, Mindy, Chad, and I think Danny went with them, along with Kirby. Okay, and what happened is on the way there they told before they got separated. Ethan was with them too. but Ethan and Mindy, on a crowded subway train, they couldn't get on the train fast enough. So Mindy and Ethan, who everybody was looking at side eye, they got on the train second. They were like behind Sam and Tara and Ethan and Danny on the train and Tara. So they got there first, and while they were on the train, like you see in the trailer, you only see you think that they're on the same train, but they're on different trains, and you see Mindy, she's like on the far end, and Ethan's on the other end, and he's looking at her, and she's giving him that side eye thing because she suspecting he may be the killer and stuff. But he's looking at her, and she's at the other end, and then on the train there's a bunch of ghost faces, a bunch of them. A couple of them, and a couple. I think Pinhead is on there. A couple of werewolves and all that stuff because it's Halloween. And how the train, sometimes the lights go off on the trains in the city when it passes through the tunnel. Sometimes the lights go out temporarily and stuff, and you see the ghost face getting closer and closer, and it winds up actually the ghost face wind up stabbing Mindy. I thought that was a fake out from the trailer, but that actually happened. She actually got grabbed by the ghost face and stabbed. And then of course we see Ethan at the other end. So you think, okay, so Ethan can't be Ghostface because he's at the other end, on the same train. But he didn't, see her get stabbed. He saw her get stabbed afterward when she's fallen, after she's collapsed and stuff. And he runs to her and pulls her off the train and go call the police, call the ambulance. She's been attacked, and all that. So I think that was made purposely so you could think that okay, that Ethan's not Ghostface because he was on the train when she got killed and when she got stabbed by Ghostface. So you think, okay, well, it can't be him because he's on the other end when the Ghostface comes and stabs him. But actually, what happened was that was just setting up an alibi or giving him plausible deniability. And that Ghostface that was on that train was obviously Quinn, I think, at that moment, because the Detective Bailey, who's the other Ghostface, he was at the station on his way to the shrine, the setup. So it wasn't him. The only other Ghostface was Quinn. So obviously it was her on the train. And like I said, one of the things I didn't like although my prediction for survivors, I picked Tara, Sam, Mindy, and Chad, and also Kirby, I think. I picked those 5 to survive. Now, of course, Kirby survived, and Chad and Mindy and the Call 4 did survive. But Chad, there was a great sequence when, like I said, Chad and Tara, they were, I think Sam was talking to Kirby in the other room, and Tara and Chad were together, and they had their moment where they actually kissed each other because they've been wanting to do it, and you kind of got the hint that they were going to do it before, but they got a moment to kiss each other, and then that's when Ghostface attacks, and Sam comes into the room and Chad kind of gets the best of the Ghostface. He's like beating, throwing the Ghostface around, punching him around, hitting him with stuff and stuff. He's probably getting the best of this Ghostface that's attacking him right now, and it looks like he's getting ready to finish the Ghostface off. I think he picked up the TV or something, or the camera, and he's getting ready to smash it over the head of the Ghostface when another Ghostface comes and winds up stabbing him. And then you see them both grab him by the arm, the both Ghostface, and then they stabbed him like 10 times, the Ghostface. And he's telling, that's when you see that look that you saw Tara in the trailers, in one of the trailers or TV spots, saying, she screamed, no, she's looking at Chad, and getting killed, getting stabbed a bunch of times by the 2 ghost faces. So he tells them to run, and then they run, and they get chased. And then we get that big reveal where Detective Bailey is explaining why that Richie was his son and all this stuff, and he indulged him in this, and that shrine is actually Richie's shrine with all the and he helped him get all the mask and all that stuff and all the stuff from the previous murders and stuff. He indulged his son, he said, but and one particular scene that I liked was when Sam basically tells his dad and his Ethan and Quinn that Richie was a pussy. She said he was a pussy who I think she called him a weak dick, a little limp dick. Yeah, mama's boy. I think she called him. I thought that was hilarious. But I like I said, the kills are brutal in this. And there's a part where Sam is hanging, where Tara, she climbs up to get out, because there's only one way out, because they locked everybody in because they thought they were going to trap the ghost face. And so she climbs up the thing to get off to the balcony so they can get out that way. And I think she gets knocked off, and Sam is holding her. And you see Quinn, once they demask, Quinn is coming from the other side, from Sam's right. And down below is Ethan and Bailey, and Detective Bailey down there waiting. And she's, Tara's hanging on, and she's telling Sam, let me go, let me go. And she goes, and she said, listen to me, let me go. And then Sam understands what she says. She's like looking at the knife that Sam has in her thing, and she hands Tara the knife, and Tara, and Sam lets her go, and Tara drops. And then Ethan, he says, I always wanted to stick you or poke you, Tara. And he stabs her, but then she goes, you're going to die a virgin. She takes the knife that Sam gave her, and she sticks it right in his mouth. She sticks it right, excuse me, through the back of his mouth. I think through the back of his head. Now, I got to watch this movie again, because I could have sworn that killed him, but I thought I heard somebody say that he got shot by by Kirby, because you see Kirby does come back in the movie, where you think she gets attacked, I think, by Detective Bailey, or shot, but then she comes back, and she excuse me, she winds up shooting. I think she winds up shooting. I think Ethan. I thought he died that way when Tara took that knife and told him he's gonna die a virgin. She stuck it right through his mouth, through the back of his mouth. I said, ugh. And Quinn gets killed by Sam. She shoots her right in the head, because she gets Kirby's gun, and she shoots Quinn right through the back of the head, right in the front of the head, and kills her. So his two kids are dead. The only person left is Detective Bailey. And then that's when he gets the call there was a picture, I think, that was released, where you see Detective Bailey with his gun out and a phone in his hand, and that's when Sam calls him using the voice changer and stuff, and she winds up stabbing him about like 20 times. It's like brutally. She has Billy's mask on, and she winds up stabbing him like 20 times real fast, and he's like, almost dead, but she doesn't quite kill him. She kind of leaves him alive, and then that's when Tara comes down and goes, she said, but I'm not, and she takes off the mask. She said, but I'm not a killer like my father. And then but Tara tells her, yeah, but he messed with our family. And she goes, yeah, you did. And then she takes the knife and she stabs him right in the eye, right through the eye. Ugh, I thought it was just absolutely brutal. So then so now all the killers are dead, and the cops come. Danny, comes by. They open up the doors, and Danny comes in with the cops. Now Danny, who I thought maybe one of the killers, but he turns out to be actually a good guy who actually, like I said, he was secretly seeing Sam on the side, and he was actually a good guy. So you could say her judgment was good, because Danny was actually a good guy all along, and he was the one that helped get them out of the apartment. When Ghostface came to break into the apartment, he took the ladder from his apartment and spread it across to the other to the other building. And if Anika would have moved a little bit faster, maybe she might have lived if she moved a little bit faster. But I can't blame her, because she got stabbed, and Ghostface stabbed her and kind of was moving the knife up in her, so she was bleeding pretty bad. So she didn't have her full strength. So, but then they wheel Kirby out, because she's still alive. Okay, and then we find it. Then you see Tara. She's saying, Chad is, poor Chad. And then you hear the ambulance driver say, "We got one more here." And then you see them wheeling out Chad, and he's still alive. And I thought it was okay. That's BS, because Chad should have died. But I was happy that he lived, because I did pick him as a survivor, and I did like the core four. Like they had the. It was early in the movie when they were sitting at the table, and Chad was saying, we're going to call ourselves the Core Four and stuff, and everybody didn't want to go along with it at first, but then, after everything was all over, they said, yeah, the Core Four, and she ran to him, Tara, and I think she took the oxygen mask off him and kissed him, and then put it back. Then Mindy shows up from the hospital and says, I was wrong, and then she sees her brother. She gets in the ambulance with him, and they take off, and then you see Tara and Sam, and then Sam has the mask for Billy, and she looks at it, and then she just basically drops it, and you see her. They walk off. Sam and Tara together walk off. Now, like I said, there was a few things I like. I gotta say, Ethan was the obvious killer, and like I said, when I picked my alternate theory of and I did think that one of the ghost faces was going to be a woman, and I was split about maybe it being Kirby. Yeah. I was split about Kirby being one of the killers. Not Kirby. I was split about maybe Laura or Quinn being one of the female killers. I couldn't figure out the motive, but I should have figured it because a lot of people I think did come up with that theory that Richie, that one of the people might be Richie's relatives. I think I did hear that theory that maybe one of the killers were going to be Richie's relatives, and it did turn out to be his family, his father and his brother and his sister. So I guess that was kind of predictable. But like I said, Chad should have definitely died because Chad got killed. He got stabbed about 10 times by two ghost faces. Uh, so he definitely should have kind of bit the bullet. But that's But I'm kind of glad he survived anyway because I like the core four of those four characters together. But again, like I said, these ghost faces were particularly brutal. And like I said, they attacked. It doesn't matter in the crowded subway in an apartment with a lot of people in it. Okay, these ghost faces were relentless. They weren't stealthy at all. They were killing people. I think the only private kill that Ghostface did was because there was a bodega scene. Like, there was a lot of people there on the subway. There was a lot of people there. Uh, in the apartment, there was a lot of people there. I think the only private kill was when Jason got killed. There was only him in the apartment and his dead roommate. So, but the other times, oh yeah, I think when the psychiatrist got killed, he was by himself. But other than that, Ghostface was not giving a crap. He was killing people left and right. Uh, Now, I definitely think the person I'll tell you who I think killed who or who did what attack in this movie. I think it was Detective Bailey that killed Jason in the apartment and his roommate because Quinn was at her apartment with her boyfriend at the time, and Ethan was at the party with Chad. So that only left Detective Bailey to kill, and he killed the roommate and Jason because they were going to plan on killing Sam and Tara, but they wanted to do it for revenge, so they wound up killing them for that reason. Okay, now the attack on the street between Sam and Tara when they were on their way to the police station and attacking the bodega, I think that was Detective Bailey because Quinn and Ethan was in the apartment when they got the call. They were watching the news, and then they had to go to the police station. So they were up in the apartment when Sam and Tara started walking and got attacked by Ghostface, and they ran to the store. And especially the way that Ghostface in the bodega handled himself with the shotgun, he dodged the shotgun blast and wind up taking it from the. That's something that police training would kick in. So that's why I think it was Detective Bailey that was the Ghostface in the bodega. Now the Ghostface in the apartment, I think that was Ethan, because Quinn was in the apartment obviously, and to do the fake death thing. So Quinn was in the apartment, so that couldn't be Ghostface, and Detective Bailey was at the precinct when that attack happened. So obviously that was Ethan in the apartment. That was the Ghostface that wound up killing Anika. That was that Ghostface. Now the attack on Gail Weathers and her boyfriend, that was obviously Quinn because Ethan and Detective Bailey were at the crime scene when they were staking out the park for Ghostface to call, Quinn and to call Sam and Tara, and he wound up calling Sam, and they traced the call, and it wound up coming from Gail's apartment. So obviously that Ghostface was already there, and since Ethan and Detective Bailey was there, so that obviously had left Quinn for that. Now I know a lot of people were saying, wait a minute, Quinn, especially the way uh, the boyfriend, the bodyguard, the black bodyguard or boyfriend, whatever it was for Gale, he wound up getting basically snatched by Ghostface. And a lot of people saying, wait a minute, you're telling me this guy that's 6'2", 200 pounds, he got snatched up by this young girl. She was able to control him. But I think maybe if she, even if she had a surprise element of attack and she wound up maybe stabbing him and she grabbed him, because it looked like she grabbed him and pulled him away, you know, but maybe she stabbed him and pulled him away. But I think you kind of have to suspend belief. But that attack had to be Quinn. Excuse me. Now, the professor, excuse me, the psychiatrist, I think that could have been Detective Bailey, or that could have been anybody, because that attack seemed like that attack happened early in the morning, and but I'm assuming that was Detective Bailey that did that. Now, and I think that was after. I'm trying to remember if that was after the attack in the apartment. I think that was before actually. So that could have been Detective Bailey. That one is more of a guess, but I'm thinking that's Detective Bailey that wound up killing the psychiatrist in his home. Now the let's see what other the attack on the train obviously was Quinn because two things. Detective Bailey was at the precinct on his way to the shrine, to the shrine, and Ethan was on the train with Tara. He was on the train with her, and he was at the far end when Mindy got attacked by Ghostface. So obviously he can't teleport from one place to the other. So obviously he came up on her after she got stabbed and pulled her off the train and told say call 911 to get her off the train and stuff. So then of course I think that was all the attacks, and then I think the Ghostface that attacked Chad and Mindy, no, excuse me, Chad and Tara in the in the in the shrine place. I think that was Quinn initially, and then like I said, Ethan was like beating the crap out of that Ghostface, and then I think the other Ghostface, which I think was Ethan, he managed to come and stab him, and then they tag teamed them, and that was it. So I definitely think, like I said, this movie was good. Like I said, I like the use of New York. I think that was really good. What they did with New York. I think that was a good element of using New York as a backdrop, as a background for the city. And now, as far as my predictions for uh, what I thought, because they said there was going to be an after credit scene, and obviously there wasn't an after credit scene. The only after credit scene was uh, when Mindy coming on saying, "You see, there's no after credit scenes in these movies," and then it went off. So I thought that was hilarious that they did that. But I definitely think they're definitely going to bring Sydney back for episode. I was at episode for a Scream 7. I think Sydney will come back. But I did think Witch was going to die. I did think Gail was going to die. Just that would be a reason for Sydney to come back. And it looked like she actually did die because Ghostface wound up stabbing her in the gut, with a knife. And the other reason I thought was because we know that was Quinn, because like I said, Ethan and Detective Bailey were back at the in the park, at the stakeout thing. Ethan was in the van with them, and then Detective Bailey was outside with the headphone with the earpiece. So obviously they were there. Then, so that only left Quinn to be the Ghostface to attack, Gail in her apartment. Okay, and then when Ghostface, got the advantage of her and it was getting ready to plunge the knife at her, she was able to stop it. Okay, she was able to hold it back. Okay, which I could believe, woman on woman, that Gail could fight off a woman. A man, not so much, because she was laying down and she's basically, trying to prevent the knife from coming down. And I could believe that's, she's fighting another woman, so she can hold her own against another woman with her adrenaline, trying to fight for her life. I can believe she can fight. She can. So that's what makes me think even more. That was, of course, obviously that was Quinn. What makes you think that's Quinn? Although, like I said, I still think that was kind of BS. That Quinn was able to snatch the boyfriend bodyguard up and basically kill him. She did like a ninja attack on him, snatched him up and took him away, which I thought was, come on. Uh, yeah, maybe she got training from her father, but I still think that part I found kind of unbelievable because you look at the scene in the shrine, and Chad is basically kicking her behind. He's like, he's hitting her with stuff and punching her and knocking her around, like she's So you tell me that bodyguard guy was probably about the same size as Chad, and you tell me he couldn't, even if Quinn snuck up on him, unless she stabbed him and disabled him. I don't know how he could not fight back against against that Quinn, the female Ghostface. But I guess you have to suspend belief for that part. But like I said, excuse me, my voice is getting a little hoarse. Hold on. Sorry about that. Like I said, I like the movie for the most part. I gave it a 7.8, and I did do a spoiler video which I'm gonna upload, and I did a spoiler-free review that I was gonna try to upload that, but I was trying to upload my in-bed vlog, but that kept taking forever. YouTube was uploading, and it came time for me to do this stream, so I put it off. I just had to cut it off so I could do the stream while I was up, because it was still, my in-bed vlog was still, the high definition version was still loading, and it was just taking forever to do. I thought it would take 15-20 minutes, but forever. It just took forever to upload, so I cut that off and got here for the live stream. But like I said, I really enjoyed the movie, and I definitely think Sydney will be back for Scream 7. I think she will. I think they will give her what they want. I think they will give Quinn. I say Quinn. They will give Neve Campbell what she wants, and I think she'll be back for Scream 7. But I definitely think, like I said, a lot of people survived in this movie. Think about it. Danny survived. He was actually a good guy. Josh Segarra, which I thought he was like too obvious when I was making my predictions, because he played a psycho in Arrow season 5, and he was so good at that. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that's why they picked him to do that. But I think they used him as a red herring. And he was actually a good guy in this, Danny, that character of Danny. He was actually a good guy, because they actually, when they were going to the shrine for the setup to trap Ghostface, they told him, we don't trust you, so you have to stay out. And he actually stayed out. He didn't fight them. He actually stayed out, and he actually went and got the police. So he wound up being a good guy, and he actually took the ladder during the apartment attack and put it against the other window to help them, escape from Ghostface. So he wound up being a good guy. The character of Danny. So he survived. The core four survived. Danny, Kirby, and Gale survived. So I think that's 7. So 7 people died. I'm trying to think how many people. 7 people survived. How many people died? Laura died. The opening kill. Jason died. His roommate, although you didn't see that, but he died. So that's 3. The psychiatrist, he died. Anika, she died. That's 5. And then I guess the 3 killers. So that's 8 kills, 8 people that died in this movie. And like I said, the kills are particularly brutal in this movie. So I definitely this is one of the more relentless slasher films in terms of the kills are particularly brutal. Like I said, I think especially that was it 2 kills? There were 4 kills that were particularly brutal. Tara killing Ethan with taking the knife and shoving it in his mouth. And she told him he's going to die a virgin. Because I think he said, I always wanted to stab you or poke you or something. I always wanted to poke you, Tara. When she fell, she fell down, and he caught her and he stabbed her. She always wanted to stick you. I think that's what he said. I always wanted to stick it in you. And then she took the knife and said, you're going to die a virgin, and stabbed him right through the mouth. I thought that was particularly brutal. But I'm thinking about it. I may have to watch it again, because I think that didn't kill him, although I think that should have killed him. I think what ended up happening, I think, is I think he got killed by Kirby. I think Kirby either shot him I think that might have happened. I gotta because now my memory is faulting me, but I gotta watch other people's videos to confirm what I think I saw. I thought I remember that because I remember that the kill that she took the knife and shoved it through his mouth, but he might have gotten up after that. Although I think hmm, I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna go with her when she stabbed the knife in his mouth that killed him. Okay, and this time I remember that wrong, but I thought I remembered that right. But anyway, and Sam killing Detective Bailey when she dressed up with her father's mask on and she took the knife and she just stabbed him about 20 times, really all over his body. She stabbed him like 20 times relentlessly, and then she took the knife and plunged it right through his eye. I thought, oof, that was particularly brutal. And then Laura, the opening kill, when she got killed by Jason, he like butchered her like I think he stabbed her about like 20 times. He just like relentlessly stabbed her. And then when he got killed in the apartment by I think Detective Bailey Ghostface, and he stabbed him I think about 20 times. Those are, again, these attacks are particularly brutal by these ghost faces. They were and by actually by Sam and Tara. Yeah, so they were particularly nice, particularly brutal kills in this movie, which I really enjoyed. So like I said, again, like the only thing I thought was unrealistic that was like a lot of people survived a lot of stab wounds. Like Tara got stabbed. Uh, Chad definitely should have. I mean, he got killed by. They went to work on him. They literally hold his hands up where his hands were spread open, and they like stabbed him like I think like 10 times each. But maybe they didn't hit. Maybe they didn't hit him in the heart or the lungs or whatever. But it looked particularly brutal because it looked like he was bleeding through the mouth, and you thought he died until at the end where when Sam when Tara is kind of crying over him and but then we find out later that when the ambulance driver says, "Listen, well, we found another one," and then you see him getting wheeled off again like the other movie. I thought that was funny, but I was glad he survived because I did pick him as one of the survivors because I thought they wanted to keep the core four together for 3 movies. That's why I thought he would survive. Him and Mindy would survive, even though a lot of people were predicting that either one of them were going to die because people thought that maybe that's what's going to happen. But I definitely thought that one of the twins were going to die, but I didn't pick them to die. I said all four, the core four were going to survive, and they did. And I did pick Kirby as one to survive. Okay, and they tried to make you think that maybe Kirby wasn't on the up and up. Okay, but then of course we found out it was actually Detective Bailey who was actually not Ethan, Richie's father, and he was Ethan's father as well as Quinn's father. Okay, so I guess you got again a repeat of the second movie where you have the family member. In that other case, it was Mrs. Loomis, trying to get revenge for Billy. In this case, it was the family, the father and the brother and the sister trying to get revenge for Richie getting killed in Scream 5. So I hope they don't got a mother out there. There's got to be a mother somewhere around there, unless she died already. The mother of all those kids. Hope she doesn't wind up being one of the ghost faces in episode episode 7. I think that would just be again too much. But like I said, overall, I like the movie, and I definitely think it's worth checking out. Definitely go see it if you're a big fan of this. I definitely want to see it again because I want to make sure about that. Because I could have sworn, now I'm doubting myself about what I saw, that I just remember Tara stabbing Ethan right through the mouth, saying you're going to die a virgin, with a knife right through his mouth. She stabbed him right through his mouth, and I thought, which obviously the knife come out through the back of his head. Although technically, I don't think that's probably enough to kill you if you stab somebody through the mouth. I don't think that is enough to kill you. So maybe he did get shot by Kirby. After watching, maybe he got when he got stabbed by Tara, he fell down, and then I think he probably got up, and I think that's when Kirby came in the room, and I think Kirby shot him. I think because we know Sam killed Quinn when she was on the balcony coming towards her, scraping the knife and stuff, and Quinn and Sam with the gun, with Kirby's gun, and she wound up shooting Quinn in the head. Okay, but I definitely have to check that out to make sure I didn't miss that. I think I screwed up with that because I thought that would kill excuse me, that would kill Chad, but not Chad, excuse me, Ethan. But maybe he didn't die because I mean, a knife through the mouth. Because remember, in Scream 5, Sam did stab Richie right through the mouth with her knife. Like she stabbed him like through the side though, and he wasn't dead. You know, he fell down, and then she like stabbed him like 20, 30 times. So, and then she sliced his throat. So Ethan probably wasn't dead when Tara stabbed him right through the mouth. I think Kirby wound up being the one that killed him. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because I got nobody asking me questions. There was one DJ Donnelly. Thank you for tuning in. Uh, but it's okay. I just wanted to do this video where I could talk about things freely. And this video is about 51 minutes. I think that's more than enough time to talk where I talked about things and stuff. And what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to upload after this video stops. I'm going to upload my spoiler-free review and my spoilers review of Scream 6. Okay, and I may do a video tomorrow on my other channel about because I have to edit my Mandalorian episode 2 video, but I can do a quick video about the killers and whether I think the motives were good. I think I may do a video about that. Maybe I got to think about it. But I enjoy, like I said, doing this live stream where I get to talk about the movie and stuff, and hopefully people will enjoy watching this. But again, like I said, I really enjoyed Scream 6. Like I said, there was only a few. I only had a few issues, like I said, with with Quinn being the one to take out Gail's boyfriend, bodyguard. I thought that was kind of unrealistic, and also Chad surviving getting stabbed like 20 times and being alive. I thought, oh, I said, after he got stabbed up and he was telling them to run, and you see blood coming out of his mouth. I said, okay, he's dead, but he wound up, being alive. He survived that again. This is the second time he survived a brutal thing. Now I don't know if he'll survive a third one in the third movie. I think all bets are off in that movie. I think him and potentially Mindy could die in the movie, depending on who's going to be the ghost face in that movie. And I wonder if they go back to Woodsboro or if they continue it on with them and being in New York, which I can see happening because, like I said, they killed the ghost faces and stuff, and they're in New York. And Danny is Sam's boyfriend, so, and she threw away Billy's mask, so you think she's moving forward. So, but you never know what could happen. So maybe they will continue in New York with this story. I think so. I think that'll be good to see what happened. But again, overall, like I said, I gave it a 7.8 as a review. Definitely enjoyable. If you're a big fan of the Scream series, watch it because they did something different with it, which I like. Like I said, the opening kill was brutal, and I like the twist with the character dressing up like Ghostface, him getting killed. I thought by the real Ghostface. I thought that was a nice twist to the opening kill scene. And like I said, some of the kills are brutal, and like I said, the ghost faces were bold as F. They weren't waiting for people to be by themselves. They were attacking people relentlessly. Excuse me. They were attacking people relentlessly. It didn't matter how many people around. They were attacking. But anyway, again, like I said, Ethan was the most obvious ghost face. And I did guess Detective Bailey and his daughter, maybe in my alternate version, in my other channel. If you watch that video, I did pick them as my alternate version. And I'm kind of glad that Josh Garrett wasn't a killer, that he was actually a good guy. So Sam has a boyfriend, hopefully maybe going forward in the next movie, he can come back. So, okay. That's about it. I'm going to wrap this live stream up, okay, and say thank you for everybody that's going to watch this. And feel free to leave questions down below and let me know what you think of the movie. And again, this excuse me, this stream has spoilers in it, so if you don't want to know, don't watch the video. Okay, don't watch the replay of this. But I wanted to do this so I could get everything out when I'm thinking about it. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna end the stream now. Okay, so thank you everybody that's gonna watch this. Okay, and thank you for tuning in. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream and take care. Like I said, feel free to leave comments down below, and let me know what you think. Okay, and I appreciate everybody watching and tuning in and being a supporter of my channel. I truly appreciate it. Okay, so take care, have a good night, and watch Scream 6. Trust me, if you've seen it, see it again, because I definitely want to see it again. Okay, so take care, be well, and I'm going to end the stream, and good night.